Good morning, and thank you for staying with us live here on America's Morning Headquarters. I'm Justin Michaels. This is Malibu, California, the morning after catastrophic rains came down, bringing with them debris flows that closed off the Pacific Coast Highway and so many other parts of Southern California still reeling after the wildfires that burned here a little more than a month ago. I want you to try to imagine last night as those rains were falling, canyons like this, crevices like this coming out of these very steep cliffs coming off and into the Pacific Ocean. Of course, the Pacific Coast Highway is between the ocean and these huge ravines, but massive debris flows coming down. Take note to where these K-rails are and how they are not connected to the rest of them. Imagine the debris flow powerful enough that as that debris was coming down the hill, it pushed these K-rails out into the road. I can tell you crews have pushed them back a little bit because last night while we were broadcasting live on Weather Unfiltered, these K-rails were out into the road because of the debris and the water flow. What else happened here is something you've probably already heard. A Los Angeles Fire Department official was in their vehicle and it got swept off this highway and down onto the beach. Let's walk over here and you'll see some of the other media from local stations here in Los Angeles who are covering the exact same aspect of this. But as we go down, imagine that vehicle sweeping across the highway, being swept off the highway and coming down and ending up down on the beach. You can see how steep the cliff is where the vehicle remains this morning. Amazingly enough, the fire personnel who was in that car that rode off this cliff and down onto the beach survived, and they walked away from that car, spent the night in the hospital, and at this hour, thankfully, are doing okay. Let's talk to Captain Erik Scott with the Los Angeles Fire Department. Captain, it's always great to talk with you, and I think the best news we can talk about this morning is that guy's okay, and there were no other injuries or deaths last night related to these mud flows.
Correct. We did have a lot of significant incidents in mud and debris flows, road closures, power outages. We flew helicopters and drones for damage assessment, but we're so thankful that that member is okay, and it's a great reminder just for people anywhere in these storm areas to make sure that they stay away unless they have to be here for work.
Captain, tell me, we were going up and down the PCH last night. You were with us for part of that. I know you and your teams were doing surveys. As you saw the situation deteriorating, the mud flows and debris flows were beginning. What goes through your mind as a first responder and for your teams to stay safe but also take safety in mind for all the other people who were on this highway? There are still plenty of crews out trying to clean up after the wildfires. There were a lot of people on this road last night.
There were. I mean, everything we do is based on situational awareness to make appropriate risk analysis profile to ensure that everybody goes home. And I actually have to commend you yesterday. You and I were looking at several hillsides and we saw some concern. We moved other people away, and that's exactly what gave way. So this is just one example of a lot of the damaged area throughout Los Angeles. It's been riddled with an abundance of fires, and those burn scar footprints are very challenging.
And those burn scars, that just only added insult to the injury that was going to be this rainstorm. Other parts of the country here, 2 and 3 inches of rain, that doesn't mean anything to them, but here it means everything, even when there isn't a burn scar.
It makes a big difference. It all comes down to two things. It's the rate and the duration. If it's slow and steady, Mother Earth is going to soak it up. But when you have it coming down so heavy as it did yesterday, you don't have the foliage to be able to slow down those raindrops. All that ash makes it very hydrophobic on the hillside, plus the root base of those plants are compromised, and if it's on steep terrain, that's where we see problems. And we're concerned about the target hazards, the people in the homes beneath them, and that's why we proactively evacuated people. Please, please, please listen to evacuation warnings.
Captain, as we go through this day, the sun is out. It's actually a beautiful morning here on the west coast of the United States, but a lot of cleanup will need to continue from last night and then, of course, the fires as well. To do that safely, what is the expectation by fire officials, even by the county sheriff's office? I know that there are steps that need to be taken to guarantee safety.
Yeah, and we're working very closely with city and county agencies. Evacuations remain in effect throughout these areas. We're going to work really close with the weather system or service rather to determine if there's any other cells headed our way. But as of now, it's good. The road to recovery is going to be long. The people of Los Angeles have really got a 1-2 punch from the significant fires a month ago, and now we have all these mud and debris flows. So people need to remain vigilant. It's another excellent example of ensuring you have a ready, set, go program no matter what the disaster is.
Captain, as you were moving up and down the PCH last night, we were doing the same thing, and there were multiple times where we got stopped because it was too difficult to get through, in fact, impassable at some points. Did this kind of go as you thought it might have gone with the amount of rain that was coming? Were there any surprises for you?
No, I think we anticipated this, and that's why we proactively evacuated people. Now, exactly as to what part of the earth is going to slide, you can't guess that. However, we did work with geologists and civil engineers and look at those steep hillsides to really to determine what areas were most impacted.
Captain Erik Scott, Los Angeles Fire, we're grateful for you. Thank you for your service as well and your time with us here on the Weather Channel. As we go to commercial break live on the Weather Channel, we give you a Los Angeles Fire Department vehicle. Personnel rode that car off this cliff, and they are fine today. We're back with more live coverage after this.